Hello everyone and welcome to this round of Ed Talks. You guys have been asking us almost the same question across the country and for the past 4 weeks. What are the updates and their implications for international students going to Canada? Let me break it all down for you one more time. Everyone talks of PR and the Canadian government has spelled it out that the main focus in the immigration levels plan from 2025 to 2027 is on increasing skilled worker intake to address their labor shortages. They're focusing on how will you as a student be the solution to their long-term skill shortage. Remember my Ed Talk with Anuraj on the golden phase of Canada coming back now? If you haven't listened to it, please don't miss it. He's spoken about this as to why interest levels are high now and how students are going there now will get the first movers advantage in Canada 2.0 as there is a strategic intent and a clear welcome by Canada for genuine international students. One of the most talked about and concern generating changes was the PGWP eligibility effective November 1st, 2024. Now, if you're choosing to study bachelor's, master's or doctoral degree programs, all programs are eligible for a PGWP. Clearly, a degree regardless of its duration qualifies for a PGWP. Okay? Now, if you choose to study a diploma or a graduate certificate, only fields of study in healthcare, agriculture, education, STEM, transport and trades would qualify. How would you find out about that? At CanAm, all our partner universities and colleges have given us their PGWP qualifying program lists. The IRCC has released a list of SIP codes that qualify for PGWP, and if your program SIP aligns with that list, that's awesome. You qualify for a PGWP and the program leads to a career outcome in a labor shortage area. So, you have a better chance at getting a job. To work and live in Canada, a job is the key. And the Canadian government has thus made it easier for you to get jobs after study. Okay, and if you also have a spouse, you're next wondering what about a spousal open work permit, SOWP, right? A spousal open work permit for your spouse is possible if you're studying a master's degree program of 16 months or longer or doing a doctoral program. Oh, you're doing a bachelor's degree? Okay, don't lose heart. Some of the eligible professional bachelor's degree programs are B.Ed for education, BSc, BSN, BSNSC for nursing, BEng for engineering, LLB or JD for law, PharmD, BSc, BPharm, etc. for pharmacy, and professional doctorates like DDS or DMD for dentistry, MD for medicines, OD for optometry, and DVM for veterinary medicine. Got it? Okay, now let me explain the DLI transfer restrictions. Firstly, what's a DLI? Every university or college that can accept international students has a DLI number and is generally referred to as a DLI. As per the new policy, if you plan to jump from one DLI to another, a new study permit would be required before switching between DLIs. So, what's the big deal? You are expected to plan your study path properly. Choose the right DLI, the right program, qualify for PGWP, gain Canadian work experience and maybe hope to qualify for PR. So choose your DLI wisely. Now for the most amazing part. Part-time work hours increase. You can now do part-time work up to 24 hours per week during regular academic terms. That allows you a clear 3 days of 8-hour work shifts. Employers are happy and so are you. Now listen carefully to this final policy change, please. Student Direct Stream, that is SDS, has been discontinued since November 8, 2024 and the students from around the world must now apply to the regular study permit process. So, what was the SDS primarily about? It ensured you had a specified English test score, year 1 tuition fee paid, and 1 year living cost invested in a GIC in an authorized bank in Canada. You may have heard many sub-agents tell you that this is no longer necessary. True, it's not necessary. But just think, how else would you prove your English language skill? But by taking one of the many approved tests? How would you prove your ability to fund your full study and living? Yes, there are ways of showing back documents, education loan letters, etc. But are you an expert on how to present it? Would you know how much of the funds is enough? Which funds are likely to be acceptable? These are grey areas and every student profile is different. While we do advise students to stick to the SDS format for visa application, if some of you would require flexibility on that, we can help you for sure. Remember, Anurag Sandhu, CEO at CanAm, is an RCIC, licensed by the Government of Canada to give advice on visa and immigration procedures. So these were the important aspects of the new updates and how they can help you. Do follow us on all our socials, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay ahead of the international education news. And see you soon.